rate on defence over the course of the groups, and that is something that they are going to need to build on. And we said this beforehand, the key to them winning is starting games on defence.
Well, they're on that defensive side to start with, so you want to hope realistically they should be able to get themselves to a flying start. Now, as a lot of people have noticed,
Leonski flexing.
Yeah, he's getting himself ready for this. He heard what Corey said in the interview after the Wild game. He wants to get in there, as the Autobahn is the first to go. And I'm not actually too surprised about this one. We've seen many teams across multiple regions, but most notably from our example, our experience, is going to be how Viperia 86 inside of MPL used also in the execution to take T-Room, for example. A Thatcher's going to be our second ban away. And again, not the most impactful one, but again, those blanket EMPs are of course very useful in a wider case of examples.
Yeah, and that's a couple of times today Nook has gone through. Azami will get taken out, which is no surprise. We know the impact that she can have on these maps, so that kind of leaves us to the decision. Is it going to be Kaid? Is it going to be Valk? Usually it's one or the other.
I'm going to say Valk.
We're really good at what we do sometimes.
I got to predict. Normally if I'm left on the spot to say, oh, what operator is going to get banned, I get it wrong.
You panic and say Maestro.
Well, no, I would never. It's either Azami, Kaid, Mirror, or Valkyrie. That's all that gets banned right now. So I take a pick out of those four if one of them's not already been removed. But we will be going to Karaoke and Tea for our very first site. We will be grabbing that Nook that we made a little bit of an example of. I'm very intrigued to see how this Nook's going to play out. This map is a very difficult one to move around, and it's been defense favoured inside of most competitions right now. EUL, you look at the stats, it's been very defense favoured instead of NAL, similar kind of storyline with that one. But many people, if you ask it, this could be a very attacker favoured map, but it just hasn't played out that way. Teams have struggled with it so far.
Well, a lot of the times where we've said that maps over the course of CL that were going to be attacker, defender, fighter favoured, we were wrong. So this could be another one where it goes the other way. One thing though that I'm looking forward to seeing in this one is, can Quick back up what he said? Before CL, we had a chat down, we had a little sit down. The only team that he actually didn't go on was Mkers. He gave them a lot of respect. Lolo in particular is a player that he thinks that should be playing at a higher level, a much higher level than this. So, are they going to show him respect, or do you think they're going to try to shut him down?
Realistically, they can't show respect right now. They need to try and get the early results. They need to try and get themselves the early rounds, and to do so, you might have to try and play a little bit more aggressive. Now, setup-wise, they've expanded themselves deep inside of Office now, and what this is going to do is trying to enable and ask and challenge for a full map clear. So that's exactly what we already see. Maker's already putting utility down on that single wall inside of VIP desk. There's an extra thermic charge, which is it wide open. Now the first line side has been gathered. Draw quick of this nice little bit of trigger reaction or trigger discipline to make sure he doesn't end his teammate's life too early. But again, the first bit of that utility has been used away. That hard bridge utility used to get themselves that access, but they repelled away. They don't want to push that balcony. They just want to threaten it right now.
Yeah, and it looks like that they've given up that sector already, so they're going to hold now across that area of the map where Shrine and Drum is, and we're going to get the initial engagement, and a key will push in and get the opener onto Quick. And look at how fast they react and get another player playing on Barrel because of how important of a position that is.
They need to try and get this trade, and they're going to be letting Draw try to do that. You want someone to try and get it? Oh, still that's lined up almost perfectly for Ackley, but of course no damage done yet. Draw will try and scrap and brawls away inside of Drum. For the time being, as a shield to fall back to, and that's exactly what he'll do. A drone sent the scout out of this position. They now know he's there. What can they do to try and clear him away? Yana's going to try and bait out this peak with that Gemini replicator, trying to wait for someone to swing from deep inside of Geisha, and that's exactly what's going to happen. That's going to be perfectly red, but unfortunately Ackley can't find the damage to get it, and Turco will get one on the Gemini.
And that is a big pick in this round. 1:30 left to go, and this is where Jaylings' strength are, holding down that defensive side. But now we see Mkers beginning to push a little bit deeper and trying to take some map control away. But even look at the position of Sam. He's getting no pressure putting on him whatsoever, playing by Geisha, and that's normally an area of the map where he might expect to be pushed out of very early.
Second drone sent in to try and get information instead of Drum. The second drone destroyed, and he falls further back as well. So Draw's going to try and waste as much time as possible. They now don't know exactly where he is, and that uneasiness is going to make it very difficult to clear his position. He's still playing close by, and he likes to swing wide and get one, but that's going to be the Gemini replicator. His position now known and compromised as Turco gets a second on the sorry. 50 seconds left to work with, an advantage now sits with Jaylings. They can just hold out a little bit longer and drag his clock to the deep waters. They can put themselves in a good position to get this very first round, as Lolo takes an absolute beating outside of Shrine. An aid primed and ready will try and send it deep. 40 seconds, but it won't arrive at anyone. And Jaylings in a very good position. Crossfires all set up, all locked in, and Sam will be the next next one to find himself in a brawl.
Oh, Sam takes the head of Dora as he's able to find, and now Aki will begin to reposition again. This is where Nook can be so dangerous, just sneaking up the back of those stairs where there's a player. But does he know it's there? Leonski gets the call, Leonski gets the kill, and all of a sudden it's all down to Lolo, one of the most dangerous men inside of CL, but with 10 seconds and just about 1 HP, he's just going to sit and wait and maybe try to get a pick, but that's round 1 in the bag for Jaylings.
As if you were a Jaylings fan, that's the script you want to read. It was a defensive victory for the side that tries to win as many defenses as possible, or at least the stat line indicates, and you can see some happy faces there in the reaction cams of the players. They know how important that was to get the opening round, and well, that's a very good start from them. Mkers, they look to be efficient in the opening stages of that clear. Unfortunately, when they got to that middle stage, they really got drowned out and couldn't find the stall out in the middle stages, and ultimately time became their nemesis. Can they amend those changes? And we will go to Exposition and Office for a second site of choice from Jaylings.
And this is a site where you want to get that wall open as early as possible, but it's not necessarily where all the focus of your attack needs to be. It's just like one of those things. You open the wall, you give the defenders something to think about, and then you maybe move your push to another area of the map, another region, and it makes you think about what is going on. Now, in relation to that then, you probably think that Jaylings are going to have a two-phase sort of a defence here. They will hold the reverse side of that line they held the first time around and around drum, but you also need to keep a player around side watching the breach and watching that window that players can vault in from as well.
They've opened up the Office single wall here, so they're going to try and contest this with the mirror window placed behind bar. That's going to make it a very difficult task to get control of that one. Lots of teams like to open up that wall because that puts direct pressure on the site initially and then begin to put some pressure on the backside from Geisha, for example. So a very interesting one. I've not personally seen this one before, but I am intrigued to see how this one plays out. It does look like Aki's going to be on a little bit of an island by himself for the beginning of this round, utilising that Nook to the best of his ability, and an entryway from this western side from Geisha to begin to put that back pressure on the site.
Yeah, you want to send Nook by themselves. That's when Nook works is the most effective, because if there's another player running around, well, it gets rid of the ability to hide yourself from those cameras. Still some side up being completed here by the side of Jaylings, 30 seconds into the round, but Lolo will stay patient, thinking that there may be a chance a player might jump out that shrine window. But this is where I think Mkers are very good. Early round, getting on their drones. You look at the drone economy, they only lost one in the prep phase. And information for an attacking side, you feel like it is the sixth operator. If you've good intel, it's as good as having an extra player. 3 players
there were active droning. Now they've all swapped off. Some of them have swapped off now as well. But 3 players actively droning, actively looking to get some control or some information. But sorry, will take a little bit of damage very early on that rappel. I think a run-out actually sent out to challenge him. But already it looks like the side of Mkers are beginning to put some pressure, knocking on the door. They're looking to get control of drum. And that will be Leonski posted up with that vector. Now the entirety of this setup from Jaylings has focused on holding on. This is going to be a very interesting fight now. Aki down below needs to win this one out against Draw, but his position gets compromised and Draw will escape down towards house. He can cover reinforcements. He'll hear that repel of the player going up as well and be able to relay that back to his team, and that's where the mirror setup is going to be effective on that balcony.
But Draw has got his 1-2 punch. His best mate Turco is down there as well. So this is where you're seeing a little bit of a counter. The drone network from Mkers identified the fact there's a player below, but there is 2 of them. You got to be careful of this 1-2 punch from Jaylings. Leonski gets a bit brave, but Aki is able to get that kill as he was prepping a C4, and that opens up the door. That player on the Mira is so important to this defense from Jaylings, and Mkers have just moved that brick out of position.
That is very, very important for Mkers. They've now cleared Leonski. They've cleared that mirror window. That's what this entire side setup is realistically dependent on. The player in bar is there to kind of hold double duty to hold on to control inside of drum as well. Now, Sam will get aggressive and trying to get one trader back, but he's got a buddy with him as well. They're stacking up to try and take these fights. Draw is now going to be the front line of this one with that MX4 Storm tries to brawl, but top of your screen, 30 seconds, and Akwi will make a rotation around. Quick will find one now, and this is all down to Akwi. Can he get this pick on the frost? He gets good information, but can he swing wide and get it? Yes, he does. 3 versus 3, 2k now, and it's going to be very critical if Sophia can walk up these stairs and have a pounce, the backstab impact, but doesn't matter. Draw shuts down, sorry.
Yes, sorry is going to fall. Aki will get another one. Turco falls. It's a 2v2. He makes that a quad. Are we about to see an ace? Draw gets the kill, though. That's a double in the end for him. And Jaylings, 2 rounds in the row. We said they were strong on defense, and they have come out. They have held their ground, and they bounced back really well from losing Leonski.
I thought when they lost Leonski that it was going to be an opening. You've lost the player behind bar. That mirror window is now open. You can try and put some pressure on that balcony. They didn't know the warden was behind the bomb chassis though, so that could have been a factor if they wanted to do it. But Acqui, on a 4K, couldn't quite get the ace to win that one out. His draw managed to find, well, one was indeed being able to collect that final kill to calm the nerves and get everything leveled off as Jaylings find their second round, as you mentioned. Now, on the script of things, this is what you want for Jaylings. They are a defensive favouring side on what statistically has been a defense-favoured map. So, if you wanted a team to cash in best as possible, this is looking good for Jaylings right now.
It is, it definitely is, but this is the third site, this is the tertiary one. This is the round where historically you expect the attacking side to maybe have an impact. So what will Jaylings be able to do as we go down towards kitchen? So hatch is open, so they're investing a lot of utility on playing up above and using that verticality factor of this map. So Mkers, now you have a decision to make. Do you go for the horizontal take, or do you do what Mkers normally do, clear most of the map, try to isolate and identify 1v1s and win the round for there? Problem with Jaylings is they don't give a lot of 1v1s, they play the buddy system.
I mean, we saw a perfect example of that when Sam and Draw was able to push deep in the shrine. They played essentially shoulder to shoulder to ensure if one of them goes down, guess what? We have a trade. It's a very good system to play. Dangerous. Leaves you very exposed to getting yourself caught out in a two-piece for one. They made it work for them in this situation. Oh, that is perfect timing. Just creeps underneath that, above that verticality. I will draw your attention though to Turco on that cap can, but Acqui get the opening pick, but instantly traded once again by Turco, as I mentioned, on that cap can. And that's kind of what Jaylings need to do. They cannot let Mkers get a free run. They need to get themselves trades, and if they can continue that tempo, very good setting from them.
Well, it's the 1-2 punch again. Turco and Draw working side by side and able to trade each other out. And this is a map where being within a couple of seconds of your teammate at all times is a very good idea. So, with that operator down, Nook out of it, you've still got 4 operators with very good, utility in the back pocket. A lot of focus on hard breach here, but though with the, the ace charges, and you've got thermite.
They've given themselves options, at least. They have not going to run out of ways to get through these hard walls and hatches that might present themselves and be a puzzle. As quick, though, it might be a little bit of a difficult one to clear on black stairs. He'll try and hold on as long as he can. Correction, kitchen stairs or main stairs. As we see here, that first exothermic charge detonate, giving them access inside of Geisha, which will likely be one of the focal points of the frontline entries that Mkers will try and use to get control of this top floor, which will be necessary to get this execution rolling.
Yeah, and I love this position here as well by the drums behind the shield. So gives Sledge something to think about. That nade somehow doesn't get rid of the shield. I'm a little bit surprised at that one as it went underneath. There we go. Second nade lucky as it does not go underneath the shelf. But it's a lot of utility going. 3 members at the ready. Actually, one of them is above the Yana. The silhouette's just catching me out a little bit. But with a minute to go, everything is playing into the hands of Jaylings now. It's a 4v4. They're still holding vertical control. And Dora Whippet, he's trying to push his way in, but Quick could potentially get one. Huge. There's one, and he's going to get the second as well. Quick has won this round. Quick has become a Sentinel instead of Geisha, and has, as you said, has essentially won this round. Sorry needs to get himself a trade, and one more to get himself level. As a C4 sent up is only going to cause more problems, and guess what? Who pops up? It's going to be Quick with a 3k. 30 seconds left to go, and Gemini's the last one standing, and I can't imagine this is going to go very well, but he runs into Turco and finds that pick. Will lose a chunk of HP for it. Case is cold, and he'll drop only into his own demise as Leonski waits avidly for his arrival, as Jaylings find themselves a third in a row, uncontested, and a timeout getting called by Mkers. Lovely angle Leonski opened there as well to watch that drop through the toaster. I'm very impressed with that one. How many times have we watched Jaylings and it's always Leonski that seems to get that last kill of a round? I mean, he is that player that's in that position to either clean up rounds or clutch them out. He's very good at doing so, finds himself in a good position time and time again. One of the most experienced players in this season of Challenger League. I mean, that's probably why Corey wants to go alongside him. He, I think, teamed with him as well. But timeout called. Jaylings, 3 rounds uncontested. Mkers feeling a little bit of pressure now, I can imagine, considering the fact that they once again, going into a season of Challenge League, have been billed as the favourites. Last time around, they also took an early exit. Oh, Demo keeps reminding of us. Oh, he does, doesn't he? And Demo also said that this map was vital for Jaylings. He said if they don't win this first map, there's no way that they're going to win the series. So, they're starting things off pretty well. But we always talk about this, get your tactical timeouts in when you can actually have an impact on the game. There's so many times in Majors, in EUL, where teams take that tac timeout when they're already maybe 4 rounds behind and it's 6-2, it's match point to the other team, and you're thinking, why not take it at a point where you can actually have an impact on the game. You're halfway through your attacking phase, and to me, they just need to stop playing into Jaylings' hands. Stop playing and allowing themselves to be traded.
The difficulty about that is, look at players like this, like Quick. This individual hold inside of Geisha reads it perfectly. They know there's a player getting ready to peek him and will swing from the open breach. Absolutely perfect from him. And as you said, instantaneously, almost on cue, he just won the round. And that was what he done. He locked down a key area, won key fights, made the case go cold outside in the balcony. What more can you ask for one player to do in what was essentially a blink of an eye? Got it done. But the timeout called. Mkers, time to do damage mitigation. Reduce the damage best you can. And how can you do that? Well, as you said, don't play in the style of Jaylings. Don't let this stall-out style of play affect you. But on a map like Sky, it's not exactly the easiest thing to do.
Definitely not. And back on Quick again, he is backing up his words. 4-1 since the rehost that we had after the first round. And some people questioned whether or not, he was talking brave, maybe to make up for maybe thoughts they had, but no, he has backed every single word up. So, moving in, he's got draw in another very good position. Turco playing nearby once more. But this is Mkers' first opportunity to go back to a site that we've played already. Let's see if they're going to do anything different this time.
So, again, I'll give massive credit due to Mkers here. The way they use their drones, their network is very, very good. But can they spot these key positions, these key players? And one of them's going to be that warden on that staircase. Can they lock them down? What can they do about it? As that nade gets sent up, and guess what? No one's there, just a little bit too late. And they will still have a good network, have a good grasp of what's going on, but they need to act upon this information. All well and good having 2-3 people on drones, but someone needs to follow it. An
adjustment that Jaylings made too that I love is they've electroclawed that wall that goes up house stairs as well. A point of entry that's been for Mkers every round so far. So they are really reacting to how Mkers play, which is kind of how Jaylings play. You can't really prep against them. You don't know how they play.
Look how long this has slowed them down. Now, Gemini gets the opening pick on the draw. Huge, shuts him down. He was a problem last time they played this site, but look at the time. Minute 30 left to work with, and all of this delay has been simply from Electroclaw. Turco gets one, no more, or gets one, trades it back. Shot sent down all the way from Drum as well. Sam will tap away deep inside of Geisha. Rotation from Leonski now in a sandwich to try and put some pressure on. Shrine's going to be a little bit of a war zone now with Turco. His ADS gets burnt away, so he'll fall back, stay alive. And this is Jaylings still going to play a fallback, just giving more space, more time as Mkers running out of utility and efforts to be able to clear this. Is going to be a problem as Quick once again sets up inside of Drum. This could be the all-important area for Mkers to clear.
Yeah, but they've prepped every area of the map for that defense as the nade just goes a little bit wide of the mark. Turco holding the long angle in towards that side of Shrine. Well, there's already a player playing by Drum. Just peeking the direction in towards Geisha again. Shots are fired, giving away the position, but Sam unable to hit pay dirt this time around with those bullets. 35 seconds to go. He's going to fall.
Sam got stuck in a rock and hard play situation, but it doesn't matter. Quick's going to be able to get one to Lolo. 30 seconds, as you said, and this is where pressure begins to build. Turco finds a second one now. It's all down to 2 members of Mkers' vault. Only on him, making only 1 survivor. Turco finds 3, and Jaylings might be able to find themselves a 4th round. Can Turco find himself a 4th pick in this one? A desperate attempt, but no, he gets shut down. 1 versus 2. 15 seconds has some time, but no case in hand either. We'll have to isolate these ones, but tucked to the corner will be Quick and shuts it down. Jaylings find themselves a 4th uncontested round against Mkers. Oh my. If you're an Italian fan, you might be getting a little bit worried.
Yeah, and if you're one of the members of the community that voted for Mkers, you're probably getting a little bit worried here too.
Will you be brave enough to say who you put in your predictions on the official talent predictions for this one?
Oh, of course, I went for Mkers. I thought that, looking at how they played, that they probably were the most, the strongest team inside of CL. But I did say on defense, if Jaylings can get a defense on the attack, they very likely will build up a very big lead.
Well, I think that is mission accomplished for getting themselves a very big lead indeed. 4 rounds to nothing. Mkers, they look a little bit like they've lost their bite, just a little bit.
Well, remember we said about that win rate of 68%? Do you know what 68% win rate roughly translates to?
4-2.
Yeah.
Are we going to see the numbers actually work out from us too? Well,
I did the math, so no.
I can't count, actually. So, yes, I relied on you to do the numbers for me on this one. But, yes, a 4-2 split would actually mathematically line up exactly to how Jaylings play their defense is getting that 4-2 split. That's 68%, as you mentioned. For Mkers, they seem a bit muted. They seem a bit quiet so far. And I think a I think Jaylings have done their homework. I think they have read into the style of play, brought a map that's going to be very effective for their style of play, and they have absolutely played it perfect. Now, can Mkers timeout used, make adjustments, make changes to get themselves what could be a very important 2 rounds on the offensive side?
Well, they'll have to live up to their name to do it. They'll have to be Mkers and make those adjustments. So, we move into round 5, and this is a very, very big round for Mkers, because if Jaylings get a 5-0 lead, you got a feeling that this game is over for map number 1. And once again, they're going to play that buddy system. They're all in position to get that trade if it goes back the other way. And when you watch the Mkers style of attack, it's usually a drone followed by a player, and there's never that second player nearby to get the trade. It seems like an easy adjustment to make, but we'll see how they approach this attack, as it will be another one of those exhibition pushes.
I mean, as much as I give credit for the way they're gaining information, they don't have a lot of follow-up with it. Yes, you can hot drone someone in. If that player loses that fight, there's no trade. I mean, it's all well and good knowing someone's there. You can still lose a gunfight. It is an FPS game at the end of the day. It comes down to who can click heads the hardest sometimes. And you need to have a follow-up for it. They look like they're going to get themselves prepped and ready. Impact EMP sent on in towards that mirror window. They'll clear it with the Habana pellets. If it will detonate just in time, I think the window should be good enough. Some of them will get shot off now, but no, all of them will detonate. That mirror window is now open and exposed, and a great big long line of sight's been opened up all the way deep towards Samurai window.
Yeah, but there's nobody from Jaylings that is going to peek that angle, so it's going to be hard to use. Until C4 will get wasted inside just a couple of seconds too late. If it was thrown a little earlier, that one would have been able to pick up a kill, and now Habana is going to reposition and get over towards that main breach. But with 1 minute and 13 seconds to go, you get the feeling this is once again playing into Jaylings' hands. But finally, Mkers are getting very aggressive. They've made the Dokebe call. They've got some intel. Let's see if they can find that open and pick on site.
10 players still surviving, and Jaylings haven't given up a single pick. The first bit of damage done in this round, and that's going to be Jaylings coming out better for it. Draw finds more on the Gemini, and this is going to be a very key moment. 50 seconds, and can they get themselves in the site? They're struggling with this initial control. Quick will find the opening one, and that's going to be Turco will find a second one on the Lolo. It's all crumbling apart now for Mkers, but one goes down. That will be quick, and a second one from Akwe. He doesn't know the warden's down, however, the case is all the way on the other side, but Gemini will find one now to Sam. The doors are opened up on a technical 3 versus 2. 30 seconds, but Leonski tucked on that bomb. Will hug it for his dear life. Was drawn a great position on VIP. He'll pop up, and the flashbang won't blind him. He might be able to catch one, but looks away at the wrong time. Doesn't matter though, he gets it shut down, but he's left all alone. And now confirmed, official, and it doesn't matter. Akwe will clean up the pieces. The Mkers get themselves their very first round, and well, the numbers seemingly don't lie, but a very good round for Mkers.
Akwe hit some beautiful shots in that one. That really broke down the Jaylings defense, and sometimes it takes a little bit of individual magic, as we keep highlighting, to win a round. And it is Akwe this time around, but we highlighted individuals for Jaylings. So far, they have played very well as a team.
They have. I mean, this is one of the highest praises we all give to Mkers, is how they always look like a very long-standing 5-man core unit. They play in a very concise way as a collective, and Jaylings have been doing that as well. We're giving them massive credit for it. Well, we haven't given them enough credit for it, I think, because we've seen them play with a lot of substitutes throughout their run. And as you pointed towards your monitor, look at Akwe's stats so far. How about you give that a little bit of a highlight?
8 and 3. We highlighted Lolo as the most dangerous player, but Akwe has had 2 4Ks, if I'm not wrong, since the rehost, and he had a pretty good first round as well that Jaylings went and won. So he has been carrying the burden for Mkers so far, but he needs more help from the rest of the team. Lolo 1 and 4, not a stat line you see, because not only does Lolo, well, barring the game from 10-star where Jags has gotten ahead of him in the rating, Lolo was the highest rated player in CL groups, and he had one of the highest costs.
I mean, actually, if you went on to CGG stats for players globally, Lolo was the highest before Jags overtook him, yes, on Monday, in the last 3 months. Absolutely stellar performance. I mean, shows how impactful he can be as a player. But as you said, so far in this game, hasn't been. And this is the fairy tale start for Jaylings. 4 rounds to 1. They need to get this victory. If they get themselves 5-1, I'm pretty confident to say they will close out the map.
Yeah, one thing I want to point out as well is the fact that Jaylings have pretty much taken Capcan every round. Now, the trip mines haven't had an impact at all, but the 1.5 time scope has definitely had an impact, and Quick will be able to tag Akwe and take him down. That's the most dangerous player so far in this map down for Mkers. Jaylings hunting down that 5-1-half. Turco is going to hit one with that 1.5 times right on cue, and all of a sudden you've lost your most deadly player, you've lost your most effective player this map. Sorry, Dora and Gemini, what can you do?
Oh, you've lost your most effective in the server, you've lost your most historically effective player, and now you find yourself fighting a little bit of back for a good long angle there to get Turco, but Quick's going to be able to try and capitalize on the collapse towards it. Gemini will get one, but that's when you finish off, and now you get to a problem with the 4 versus 2. Jaylings have so much control, and the verticalities open up. The flashbang sent into Leonski will force him away just for the time being, or just for enough time to get across. He'll use that C4 sent on up to no avail. No one's even close to it, but with a minute 25 left to work with, it's safe to say Mkers are finding themselves in the deep water very early in this. Jaylings can essentially play crossfires, play for trades. They can just hold on to these key positions. They don't need to do a lot. They just need to wait and let the clock do all the work.
Yeah, and they've actually sent Gemini on the hunt to find Leonski, but he is gone. He has fallen back to sight now as they identified that fact. They've hit the pause button on the top floor. They're hoping that one of the Jaylings player will provide them with a free kill, but as Gemini moves up, he's going to peek around the corner. Leonski still playing in sight. You get a feeling this is a very big gunfight coming up here now for Mkers, but Leonski is going to swivel around, get the kill, and now Dora is going to have to explore the rest of this map to find himself a couple of kills, and there's the first one as draw falls.
Bit constellation at this point, I'd have to say. Once again, I mean, that pick that Leonski got, once again, notice the name, Leonski popping up, finding those very critical picks, either cleans it up or either shuts it down, and well, now with one player remaining on the side of Mkers against 3 of Jaylings, it's pretty safe to say with 25 seconds left to go, it is going to be a 5-1 split, and well, thank you for that one, Quick. Makes quick work of it and gets us to the next round a little bit sooner. 5-1. If you told anyone in the pre-game that we'd be looking at this split and this strength of Jaylings against Mkers, no one would believe you. Everyone would say, no, not a chance. Look how good Mkers were in groups. Look what they've done, the teams like 10 Star. Look what they've done through everyone. And now all of a sudden Jaylings, a team that I don't think people put enough respect on, all of a sudden, we can cast again!
No, it's round 7. It's not over yet.
The waffle's over.
Yeah.
Oh, we're free. I can talk about the video game again.
So we'll move into round 7. This will be the first time we get to see that Mkers defence in action. And straight off the bat, a couple of changes. Rooney is going to be brought in this time around. Now, the bane of any player, whether you're playing in comp or whether you're playing in ranked or casual, is alibi on the defence. That gun, that MX Storm, is incredibly impactful right now. And look at the person who's not quite had the game so far that we expected, but Lolo on the alibi, that is a great way to potentially jumpstart your day.
If there's anything scarier than an alibi, well, there isn't actually. Have you ever played ranked against an alibi that's an absolute demon? I mean, you're a 0.4 KD, so you've definitely been receiving end of an MX4 Storm a few times.
There's an exclamation mark or a little asterisk beside that. It's not 0.4. It's 0.45. We rounded up
4.7 on a good day you're a 4.7, a bad day you're a 3.9.
If that's the case, why do you still always want to play ranked with me?
Oh, I dodge those stacks.
Look, so anyways, we'll get back into it. Alibi is incredibly scary. It can be at every single area of the game, and this is now where we need Lolo to have an impact, and Lolo was trying to do that by getting aggressive straight off the bat on that black stairs door, trying to spot a player on the rappel, and if Jaylings aren't careful they could get caught out very early, but it looks like all those rappelling players, they're going to go up on the opposite side of the map.
Yeah, they're going to go for a backside take, as you expect, and already an exothermic charge detonating, and I really hope for the side of Mkers that's not the main one. It is.
It's open.
Right. Okay. So
and there's nobody home.
Site's very exposed right now, and if this is read into, they can very much capitalize upon it. An alliance scan goes in. Now they won't push in behind it. They need to clear down below. But guess who's going to be there? The Nook, and that's going to be a draw with the opening pick as well on the Gemini. And this is going to be very, very scary indeed. As you know, Quick is on the hunt. He doesn't care about clearing down since Leonski. He's already getting the case down. There's not a chance. No way! He gets this done. Quick gets on the Lolo. The case doesn't go down. Denied by the C4. But this is damage done. Already Jaylings in absolute complete control of this matchup, and that's going to be huge. Dora gets one. Akwi falls. Dora's going to get caught out by Sam. Jaylings on map point.
Yep. And they deserve it. They have played incredibly well, and once again, it's about being decisive. They droned the site, they realized there was only one player there, so they sent it in, they got the pick, and then all of a sudden, it is fire alarms going off everywhere from Mkers.
What are Mkers doing? Like,
they were playing the long con. They thought Jaylings were going to play a really slow attack, but Jaylings did what a good side does and adjusts.
But the wall's open, and you should begin to realize, oh, we don't really have anyone on site, do we? Right, you've got a C4 down below. That's good. That denied it, but Jaylings went, let's just take sight. Let's just go in. Let's get our picks. Let's win it. Let's try and get the case down. Oh no, the C4 went down. Doesn't matter. We don't like the plant anyway. So they got the kills. They got it done. And they were so quick to make that call. Whoever the IGL is, absolutely perfect. That was brilliant calling. Whoever spotted that, let's go in. Brilliant. But for Mkers, react. The door's open in the first 30 seconds.
Kaid was still making, head holes with his shotgun whenever that breach was open.
I feel like demo a little bit. I'm broken.
You feel like demo all the time.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. You love just giving me abuse. It's great.
Yeah, it's true. Listen.
So, we move on to match point here in game number 1 of this best of 3 series. And the one thing that we highlighted was Jaylings starting on defense, building very strong leads. That's exactly what they've done in game number 1. So, Mkers, they need to win 5 rounds back-to-back just to force overtime. So, we're, Jaylings are guaranteed 5 match points, and I wouldn't put it past them winning that round in the next 3.
I'll raise you this. I think they get it done right here, right now. I think this is going to be, you know what, Mkers blew teams out of the water. And, I mean, Sam is confident with this one. He's brought a blitz. Well, where's he going to go in? Is he just going to go in with breaches open? Might as well just walk on in. They gave us this control for free. This time I'll have a shield in my face and see what damage I can do. That might be exactly what the intention is this time around. But for Mkers, this has been a muted and pretty toothless effort from them so far, and I think Jaylings might be able to close out this round. Of course, I'm willing to see things change, but it looks like a direct Route 1 play once again is going to be called for.
Yeah, and they've spotted where the Electro Claw is, so they're going to use the EMP to open it up. But it's going to get taken down, just delayed a little bit too long, and Gemini is able to get that Electro Claw off. So that's plan A, a little bit put on, so they'll move on to plan A star. They're not quite on plan B yet, but they'll still work on getting that breach open. Flores will remove the barbed wire, and look where that is. Sorry, though, we'll get the opener onto quick, and it feels like a long time since Mkers got the opening pick in any round.
I think that might be the first time they've got the opening pick. Second,
I think it's the second.
Still not as good as you expect for a team that has played to the way they have done so far. So the opening pick goes in favour, and look at this, they're just going to send Salmon. Then he goes. Crossfire's probably going to be there, but guess what? Draw's going to be able to collect the rest of the pieces, and this payment jump is not going to be long for his 4, but it doesn't matter. Gemini gets 2 there, actually. And leaves it down to 4 versus 2. Mkers poised to get themselves a very first round in this match, or a second round in this matchup. Turco vaults on in, gets caught out, and that's going to be Mkers getting themselves their second round. Now, I perhaps cursed it just a little bit, saying I thought Jaylings would get it done right there, right now, but still in control. Yeah, I haven't cursed it yet.
No.
I'm hoping.
And I think the reason that they lost that round, and it's actually very good play from Mkers, is when they pushed in towards Terrace, they got the pick on the player by bar. So, naturally enough, they assumed that was the only player there, so they went to focus on Drum, and that's when we just saw a very good rotate coming around from the Kaid. He rotated back in behind while the players were focused on Drum and was able to get a very impactful 2K.
Yep, I mean, that was huge. Swings round, gets Draw, who's going to be that initial confrontation on that line, trying to cover the crossfire onto Sam on Blitz. Gets that pick, going to get that freebie in the Blitz, who has his back turned to you. So, very good rotation, as you said, gets them their second round of the series. Still a long road to go. You need to win a lot more rounds, and even then, when you draw a level, you're just going overtime. It's a bit of a reset.
It is, and Jaylings are changing things up again. They're bringing a Monty this time around, so back-to-back rounds with a shield, and it was half effective last time. It almost worked, but sometimes, there's a member on EUL who doesn't like it whenever a shield is brought in situations on attack whenever you're doing well without it. So let's see how they can play off Turco with that. I probably anticipate it's probably draw nearby.
I have never agreed so much with Fresh in my life about this. I mean, why bring a shield now? You've been doing a good job. You've been winning your fights. Why bring one less gun?
Are you saying you don't agree with Fresh a lot?
I do, but, okay, I do agree.
Yeah.
Bar from my notebook. I like my notebook.
I don't. It's too small.
Stop it. It's fine. It's a perfectly good notebook. At least I don't steal someone else's.
Look, well, the notebook that I have, it's actually from one of the observers. So I think it's Medics.
Yeah, you're stealing Medics' notebook.
His face is everywhere here, by the way. If you've ever been to the studio, you cannot go more than 5 yards without seeing Medics' face.
He's observing. He's observing us everywhere we go.
Even though he's not here. Schreikel, of course, is our fantastic
observer. Job. But enough of a waffle again. You've heard enough of it. You've had to deal with rehost listening to us, so try and not ramble away, I promise. this is for Jaylings an interesting decision. Turco on that shield. Now, of course, he might be very, very good on that shield, but you're bringing one less gun. Why? I mean, sure, it might work out. You never know, but I'm not too keen on it so far.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's been a case where Turco's been pretty effective with his gun whenever he's used it in this game so far. So, let's get in. They've already opened up initial bit of the breach, and Leonski will begin to move. So they're opening that to create some doubt. And I'm a big fan of this. Open a breach, but then move away, but give those defenders something to think about.
Dokkaebi call going out for the time being, trying to get some information. Monty's just walked in.
Yeah.
And just stand there imposingly, I guess. Just sit there, try and draw some attention. No one's with him, though. No one's pushing with Turco. He's all alone with that shield. Yeah, it's all well and good. You can draw attention, but there's no one there to capitalize upon it. What's the real point? Doesn't even matter, though. Quicksort play that absolutely perfectly. Get one. Oh, it's essentially a freebie on the sorry. Akwi Wolf on the trade, though, onto Leonski. A second line scan goes out from draw to try and mask movements down below. But once again, we'll cut to this. Monty all alone. Tries to look through something from the prone hole, but not going to get it presented to him for the time being. And that's going to be Gemini who gets that pick on the quick. And now with a 4 versus 3, you're now feeling that real pressure for having one less gun on your side, as now it's going to be even more of a problem now as Sam walks into a crossfire. 45 seconds left to go, and Jaylings perhaps wishing they had a little bit more firepower among their ranks.
Yeah, and if you want an example of Jaylings' attack, screenshot right now, they don't have the diffuser, they have a Monty, and they're pushing into sight to try win this one by getting some kills. Now, it is Warden that you're going against here in the scenario, which isn't the best in the idea in the world. Akwi will get one, Gemini gets the other, and it is all down to Sam, who's been taken down, and you would expect we're not going to see a shield operator this time.
I hope. I'm not a fan of it. I mean, right, I understand the reasoning behind it. You're going to put him on that balcony, you're going to try and draw as much attention as possible, and of course, the shield bearing down on someone existing is going to make a little bit of pressure. Give you that pocket, perhaps give you that moment to rotate around, and of course, flood their comms just a little bit where you have to worry about, what's the Monty going to do? Is there someone behind him? Or are they pushing up the stairs behind him? But, I mean, it is absolutely the wrong call in those situations.
And we are going to have another Ray host this time around by the looks of things, but
He'll get picked out, I suppose. But, I mean, sure, one round away for Jaylings to get this closed out. It has been a substantial break between the last round played and now.
And Draw is having a little bit of fun as Quick will quickly shout that he wants to get this round started. Jaylings Esports on match point, coming up against Mkers with 3 rounds to go. Lion, Ace, IQ, Iana and Monty are going to go up against Wamai, Smoke, Mute. We've got ourselves a castle and that scary operator again, that is Alibi. What sort of an impact? With a Monty, by the way, do you think Castle can have it slowing down this Jaylings attack?
5 seconds remaining.
If the castle is positioned well and the setup is around what the Monty's going to do, it's going to be, I mean, if they send Turco alone, it will be, he's going to meander up to a barrier, be like, oh, I can't go through here. I'll go somewhere else. He'll meander over somewhere else with a shield out and be like, oh, can't go in here, can't go over here as well. And he'll go somewhere else. And guess what? If there's a castle barrier there, he won't be, I mean, it'll slow him down. I mean, hopefully they buddy him up with someone. I mean, Jaylings love to play the buddy system, but to me, not when there's a shield in play. Is a shield his buddy?
Well, maybe. You can talk to it anyway as they walk through the map, and we'll look at those defenders in the eye and laugh as they cannot take him down without getting close enough to melee. So let's get into this round. Leonski wasting no time whatsoever in getting to work and opening up that wall into Geisha. The hatch is open, which means once they secure that, they will be able to play down. But with it being castled off, it means they need to put a little bit of work into moving from Geisha if they want to get control of the rest of the upper half of this map. But the thing that I like is they are going to send Quick on a little roam with the Nook, and can he find a solo defender from Mkers and get that vital opening pick? Because if you have a Monty, you need the opener.
You need to be able to get yourself back to that level gun advantage, so you have 4 guns trading against 4 other guns, and that's going to be problematic. The opening pick goes in favour of Mkers, but guess what? Leonski is there for the instantaneous trade in that golden window of at least 3 seconds, so mark that up on your cost stats for that one. So, Early days still. Opening pick goes in favor, I think, in this one, realistically, to Jaylings. They've lost Gemini on the side of Mkers. Those are my pancakes get stronger and stronger over time. And the fact is, less magnets, less utility burn, easier time for operators to have nades, such as the Nook, to be able to have an impact.
Yeah, Nook is moving around. One avenue has been gone. We're going to see a swing as Draw will get a kill on Tesori, which now means Monty can have a real oppressive impact in this game. Akui will fall back towards as he peeks over from barrels down that long avenue, but there is intel being passed along. Akui still playing that position, but advantage is now in Jaylings' hands, and Smoke will try to force Monty back, but by doing so will fall retreat, and there is Akui getting another kill. Don't look at the scoreboard. He's got way more than one. He's had a big impact.
He's been one of the, I mean, I think that's his 12th now. That would be his 12th now. Has been one of the most impactful players in the server so far. With 40 seconds left to go, we find ourselves on a level 3 versus 3. Now, Jaylings just need to close this one out and get themselves onto the very next map of this. Of course, Mkers fighting tooth and nail to stop that, and he would have heard this Gemini replicator. You'll hear it drop now, and Akui, well, this is a freebie. He'll get that headshot confirmed in a second kill in that round, leaving it now in a very difficult position with Monty and Leonski. Now he has an AK-12, one of the best weapons to brawl with in the entire game, with 20 seconds to work with. He still has an opportunity. The smoke grenade goes out, and the Monty will try and push himself forward, but alone once again. And time not the friend right now of Jaylings. Leonski will vault on in, and they have a very good idea where he is. If he can win these fights, so this could be an opening, it doesn't even matter. 2 quick pickups now for Mkers, and guess what? We're going to go even longer in this one.
Yeah, and that's another round where I just think the Monty's not having a big effect, but Akui is. He was able to go around the map with ease, pick up the kills, and, you know, you call it, the minute that he heard that Gemini replicator pop off, he was like, this is the freest kill.
Back, everybody, and it is time to get cracking straight back into this one. Well, we were away for a little bit. You were spared from having to listen to us waffle through a rehost, but we're back.
The best 5 minutes of the broadcast so far, as we get stuck in.
Oh, I can imagine. Listen, there was absolutely bopping music going on.
Yeah, anyways, we'll hopefully see some action in round 11. Jaylings Esports, this is their, if I'm not wrong, this is their 4th attempt now of match point.
I've lost track of all time. I don't know anymore.
Well, they've had quite a few chances at match point now. Maybe this is the time we will see them clutch it out as we go to Exhibition, the site that they did win on attack a little bit earlier. And we would look at that attacker lineup, something that you'll be very happy with, as Turco has decided to bring Finka, an operator not as good as she once was, but hopefully she'll be a good
No shield. No shield. He doesn't have a shield. He's not Blitzer Monty. I'm happy.
Yeah.
They made it. All right, Jaylings win the round.
Well,
bold prediction, I know.
It's a bold
daring one.
So let's get stuck into this one anyway. 2 minutes and 30 seconds for Jaylings to play with as they do the early bit of the game, trying to find a run out from a member of Mkers, which I don't think is going to come in this situation as they understand what the scenario is. So, looking like it's going to be a very standard push as they will look to open up that breach. The one thing I will say is they've got Lion, so they've got some form of EMP. The timing isn't quite as good as Thatcher's, but last time Gemini did some great tricking with it. Will we see the same feat? And sorry, he's going to chill in the hot tub.
He's chilling. Bing chilling. He's having a good time. Now, what's he going to do? Is he going to pop up, get 1, 2, or how many are going to stumble into his trap?
Well, I think that if he's going to get any, it's going to be Quick. And Quick is moving very fast. I'm not going to use there we go. Quick gets it, and now will we see the attempted refrag? No.
Nope.
Sorry, holds his nerve. He stays there, but Turco pushing onto site will get another one, putting us in a 5v3. And hey, giving Turco a gun, pretty effective.
Yeah, I mean, still no response from Sorry. He is going to stay posted, I guess. He's relaxing. In the hot tub, he's chilling out. But, I mean, with a minute 30 left to go, you're 2 teammates down, 5v3 advantage now of Jaylings, and they're on map point. You might want to, move. It's time to perhaps do something.
I think if this works off, we will be praising the patience that he has shown so far, the patience of a saint. Now, for Jaylings, it's essentially a 5v2 in and around site. You've got diffuser in your hand. Will we see the rarest of things? Rarer than a unicorn is seeing Jaylings put that diffuser down. Gemini has got the long range scope on that shotgun as well, something which can cause impact as Lion makes the second EDE call to freeze those defenders in place. And it is important at this point, with a 50 seconds left, that those defenders do stay still, or else Jaylings will get the idea of where those remaining players are.
Right, we're at the point of the round with 45 seconds left to go that finally now we'll see wake up from his slumber and begin his ascent to try and make a flank. But he's not even going to go for a flank, he's just going to go and reinforce the VIP stairs. And this is going to be a very scary prospect now, if he can try and make that work. And oh no, Gemini has played this perfectly and gets one. A quick two-piece now from Mkers, and it's going to unravel for Jaylings. Having a level 3 versus 3, 25 seconds, but Draw is going to be able to get one of his own. Now the Gemini, and Sorry gets it level. 2 versus 2, and Sorry gets another one. Perfect game of patience. Finding a double kill. Sam now creeps himself all the way in. 15 seconds now left all alone. No candle, 2 candelas left to throw in. Sends one deep towards Abel, gets caught by ADS. Time to use your LMG and all in alone. 81 rounds to work with, but 5 seconds left to go. 0-0. Dawning, and he gets shut down by Dora, who gets that pick. Jayling, oh, you actually said it. You said it. Sorry, we would be praising Sorry if it worked out. We were going to question it in the early round, but he gets it. He makes it work, and give me all 12 rounds.
All 12 rounds, and the patience of Sorry, we spoke about it. Didn't have a C4 in the back pocket, so he was playing for below just to use the weapon. And that's exactly what he did. He rotated up late, but that doesn't work without Gemini just finding the perfect corner to hide in inside drums. And not only did he find the perfect corner, once again, another player showing a great example of patience and trigger discipline. The Lion was there. The Lion was free, but he waited a second or two. In came Thermite with the diffuser. Now, that's just really something in the backpack for Jaylings. It's not really something that they plan on using.
Yes, it doesn't really matter. Any other team, that's the problem. Jaylings, it's minor inconvenience to say the least.
But you got the kill on the Thermite, who I am sure had a moment of absolute confusion. You know, you step in there, your teammate just walked through drum, and there's a player staring your way, and everyone's been in that situation before, where you've come up against a player who's shown great trigger discipline, and that is a mental breaker.
I mean, it's a corner that you should check. I mean, check that little balcony, that little step up by Geisha. You know, someone's going to sit there. You know, you check it every other time, every other site when you're trying to push towards Geisha. Someone's going to pick that because that wall's typically open. But, I mean, that's going to be, as you said, a little bit of a mental torture. And considering this game, from it being one map in, has been an absolute mental gauntlet for these teams already. Every little helps, and Mkers put themselves one round away from getting themselves to overtime. Now, let I remind you how strong, what feels like hours ago at this stage, but Jaylings went 5-1. 5-1 was the opening split of this game. They have won one more round since that point. Mkers a single round away now from forcing us all the way to overtime, and funny enough, the only overtime we would have, theoretically, this entire playoff stage so far.
And the least likely one too, when you consider they were 6-1 up at one point.
Was it 6-1?
I think it was. So remember what we said about that, the Doubt Goblin becoming a Doubt.
Oh no, he's
demon.
here.
He's close. He's there. He's big. He is growling in the ears now, but it's actually Jaylings' side. He's come out through the wardrobe door of that room for quick, and now he's whispering his ear. And Turco is bringing the Monty this time around. This is match point. Jaylings' last try before we go to overtime, and this is a big one. Can they make the Monty work? You've got Ying. You're going to look to cause chaos, confusion, and absolute corruption of the site with those Candela charges. But you need to get into a position to make them effective.
I mean, Turco is such a talented player. Put him on a gun that can capitalise on those little chaos moments that those Candelas are going to create. Pair him up with Sam. He has someone to trade him. He has someone that can back him up in a firefight. But he's going to play with Leonski, trying to gain this map control, and the C4 goes and catches that aforementioned Ying. No more Candelas in play. No more premeditated chaos. It's going to be the opening pick for Mkers, and Jaylings have a little bit of a harder task now to try and get control. And they'll try and put this multi back in the black stairs. Mkers have dealt with this already, and they're going to know what's arriving. The biggest X factor is going to be quick, and if he wins this fight against Mozzie, it could be huge, but Mozzie has no idea, has his back turned to him, but the verticality will stop this entryway, but it doesn't matter. Quick will try and creep before he has information, and he gets caught! They trade each other! Oh, that's huge. Absolutely huge. Mkers now have a huge advantage. 2 active guns on the side of Jaylings, and this nade hits could be a level absolute equalizer, and it does. Draw, calms the nerves, gets it back to 3 versus 3 in a minute 25 to work.
And now Monty can begin having an impact. Draws shots just an inch away from getting the kill. As we see those smoke containers being thrown out. Aki will get the kill on the Leonski, though. It's Draw and Turco, the 1-2 punch that we keep talking about. Well, let's see if they can win it from this scenario. The case is cold outside. Monty is going to go pick it up. Are we about to see an execute now with a minute left to go? This toxic bait is thrown, and that's going to force him back down the stairs.
50 seconds, 2 versus 3. Mkers need to control the time, the pace, everything. And now they have the advantage. Lolo finds one to Turco. The shield now gone. Draw alone in a 1v3. Have Mkers just done it? Have Mkers just done the unspeakable? From 5-1 down to overtime. Jaylings look to be unstoppable. Surely they haven't fumbled the bag here. Draw will wait. He'll be patient. He'll look to try and catch one. The Jaeger might think of a swing and a wide one, but the case is cold. 13 meters away, but that will feel like an absolute eternity. They know where he is. He will peek out. The suppressor won't mask your movement for long. And they will wait. They will play patiently. They know that Draw is essentially caught in a trap, and with 15 seconds left to go, there's nothing he can do. He'll find a trade, but it doesn't even matter. Makers go all the way, Gibby, all the way to overtime. And Jaylings, this is where you get a little bit concerned. They had such a big lead, and now, well, it's reset. Back to the playing field. Overtime, here we come.
It's gone. They have had so many opportunities at getting this game finished, but no, we are going to overtime, and woe is me for Jaylings because they're going to start on attack. We know that they're incredibly good on defence, and now they're only going to get to do that once. Now, the only caveat is the only round on attack they won was the first one. Can they repeat that feat on the first round of overtime? Well, Turco's picked up the Finka, the only operator he's got a kill with since he was rocking those shield operators. So, can we get Jaylings to get back into match point, or have Mkers just shown the composure that a side like them are known for having?
These last few rounds, that's been Mkers. That has been the side that we've expected to show up from the very first round of this game. Now, can they go all the way? Can they now take this pretty big victory mentally? They came back from 5-1 down. 5-1 down is not an easy mountain to climb, and they've done so. They're in overtime. 12 rounds was simply not enough. Can they get it done? But so, 3 rounds left in this matchup. Whether you win, lose, doesn't matter. 3 maps or rounds left of this map. Makers poised in a very good position to try and win it. Because Jaylings, they've struggled on the offense. As you mentioned, it has been their Achilles heel as a side. They're a defense-favouring team. This could be huge for Makers.
Yeah, Lolo is going to look to maybe get a kill from that position at long last, waiting for that repel to come, which hasn't quite come in this game yet, but now it does. He spots the line. Now the drone will come, and this is just good A, Bs and Cs of Siege. Lolo spots the drone, eventually gets rid of it, and now will fall back a little bit. So the free kill is not going to come, but that could have been a disaster for Jaylings had they not droned that out.
I mean, this is the point of the game that you need to take those extra precautionary steps. You can't give away a soft pick like that. You need to be fully aware of what the dangers you're waiting are or could be working towards. Tokabi call goes out, gathering that little bit of information. The logic bomb will rattle away in the back pockets for the time being, but no one's going to push off of it, so it will make a little bit of the players of Makers a little bit uneasy. A nice long angle set up by Aqui here, just trying to hold as far back as they can instead of Drum, waiting as those drones come cascading towards him. He'll spot them out in his position now compromised. The Flores drone sent in, try and clear what utility it can. That shield will be its target, but will it arrive upon its destination? It'll be a tricky one, but yes it will, so Alibi will have to fall back deeper into the shrine. Cover now gone, and Jaylings slowly but surely setting themselves up well to take map control and get this execution positioned well.
Getting through every checkpoint perfectly, as Leonski will put a rubber stamp on that first checkpoint as he gets the kill onto Aqui, the player who's been the big problem for Jaylings over the course of this map. So you've got numerical advantage, and now you've pushed up as far as Dragon and Drum, but sorry, will look to inch back that way. He's already got a teammate playing at the bottom of Dragon, and with that reinforcement, it means that Terrace will have no impact towards that direction. So what's the next step? You've droned out Bar, you've realised that there's a player playing in bomb site. There's more than likely a player in exhibition. There's more than likely a player in office peeking through the head holes, which is what they should be able to deduce from this. So the question is, how do you approach it from here?
With 50 seconds, you don't have a lot of time to deal with this problem. And again, Makers right now can kind of just sit and wait. Yes, you've got one less gun, one less body to try and throw at the problem, but the time is ultimately going to be your, in this case, 5th defender. It will hold on, it will compact everyone from Jaylings and force panic decision making. And every second that we wait, we get closer to it. There's no direct avenue, no direct access in the site. They're going to be forced to funnel in through doorways and windows, and all those positions are being carefully monitored and watched. An exothermic charge will finally detonate, giving an opening as Dora will have to scrap and brawl their way around these display cases, but pops one with the TCSG, finding 2. Turco will get that one on the trade. Sorry, pops up and finds one the draw. The C4 goes deep and no detonation will arrive. 10 seconds remaining and Dora falters. 9 seconds, the case gonna go down. Leonski left all alone, tries to pull off him, it doesn't matter. Lolo shuts it down. Makers get themselves on a map point here on Sky.
And will they make it work? We have seen Jaylings with multiple match points and lost them all. Are Makers going to win their one attempt, or are Jaylings on defence going to force us to go all the way in our first overtime of the Challenger League playoffs? So, looking at that setup now for Jaylings, you've brought the alibi, you're bringing the Warden, Smoke, Jaeger and Kaid. Are they going to be able to find the kills that matter? Well, a long time ago, in a map far, far away, which was still Skyscraper at the start of this game, all of their success was found by their players playing in tandem in twos. You had one player on site, and then you had your two little sets of twos in intermediate various distances away from the map, and Makers were not able to win those gunfights, those 1v2s. Can Jaylings remember that far back and repeat that success?
I want to hope so. For their sake, at this point, considering how long of a lead they had and how this game has unraveled in front of them, it is going to be a hard asking. I think mental's going to be a big factor now. This is where you need your players to dig deep. You need to find someone to motivate, get that extra bit of energy. It's been a long day for them so far in this. We're only one map deep so far. But the numbers kind of tell a good story for this one. On the defense, Jaylings have that 68% win rate on the defense. Now, we saw that almost work out exactly perfectly in the opening half. They were dominant there. And now Dora's brought out a Monty. So, considering that we've not seen a team bring a shield and win on this map, you never know. You know, might be up there. But for the... Right, so for Makers, just to let you know, when you throw an EMP, make sure it's actually got rid of the gadget before you toss your Selma, because they've just lost 2 Selmas for nothing. What? What? Words, I'm lost for them.
And I can't get over the fact that Sorry just stared at his teammate twice. He just kind of gave him the look as if to say, really? Really? And he looked at him for a good 5 or 6 seconds of just absolute disappointment as they move into this one. Now, they do have the Monty, as we pointed out, but the Monty does have the double Black Ice buff. He's got Black Ice on the shield and on the pistol, so maybe that can have an impact for them. But this could be a point where we see one of those Dora messages saying, this is how you use Monty on the attack if they win.
But they've got no hard breach now. They can't get in. It's doors exclusively. Like... This is a problem, right? You got one Selma, so you can make a vault hole. So you can vault on into somewhere, you can get your access. But essentially, Geisha's now locked down, and they'll finally open up something via the window on Karaoke. Have they opened up the connector wall? They have. So they're going to try and trap the players inside of Geisha from that rappel and use that little pocket of pressure to get themselves an entryway. That's what I would do, but they've created that space. No one's there to take it. And this is all stemming from the fact that they misused those impact EMPs.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in as now intel is being gathered once again. Lolo holding a long, narrow angle, hoping that someone from Jaylings will push that way, but I think that Jaylings are going to show a little bit more patience to try to win this one out. Turco still playing behind the shield, not using the cap cam this time around, and Lolo is going to remove his head from his shoulders as he pushes on up. Lolo finally having an impact in this game as the last 2 rounds he has gone big. They've got control of Shrine, they've got control of Dragon, but still Warden is there. Monty is on top Black, and Whippet, he's trying to bait it, he's dropping the shield, he's trying to play the hand here of the player on Black stairs, but as of yet there is no wait, there is no push, but the smoke will force them out.
That smoke will give them a pocket space, but we want to highlight that Shrine shield has been so important holding on. The player's now gone, 30 seconds have to go, and Lolo down below as well. He's going to be able to creep up those stairs with a hell resistance and be able to cloak his sound, but are they aware of it? The alibi seemingly is alert to it. Now Aqua will try and push forward and back up this position, and they'd primed and ready on Lolo. He'll try and set it up to try and clear anyone by Karaoke, and Aqua will find that one on Leonski, now in a 5 versus 3, and everyone from Jaylings and now on battle stations. Draw will get one, but instantly find himself traded, but there's going to find a second one. 9 seconds left to go, the case will go down. Dora's trying to stick it now. Warden uses his glasses. 5 seconds left, and through the smoke he goes, but no, Lolo catches him, the case goes down. It's all on a draw on a 1v3. Case is down. And you can't imagine this is going to be easy. He's got full HP though. The Monty's going to be able to walk him down though. And finally an example of how to use his shield absolutely perfectly. All the crossfires held. No one's at that window just yet, but now goes at Ace, and now it is surely lost, but no. Draw gets one. 3 in the round. Is he going to get the ace clutch? He has to do with that Monty. 20 seconds left to work with, and he's not got a whole lot of time.
Can't win. Cannot win. The Monty is just going to stay in position and force him to make a decision. Lolo is there, and he's just pinging him out. He's actually trying to use the Monty to draw him towards the door. 13 seconds to go. He's going to try to bait it out, but Monty will go on the hunt again, and Mkers will win the first of this best of 3 series. And this is the game that Demo said that they needed to win if they wanted to win this whole series. It hasn't happened. Well played, Mkers, but there's going to be a lot of questions asked by Jaylings because that game was theirs.
Jaylings are a team that should have won the opening map. I don't think there's another way of putting it. They were 5-1 up. And now in overtime, it has all fallen apart. Mkers are victorious on Skyscraper, and this is going to be a situation where you've got to start thinking about the mental reset. How are they going to react to that one? That was a long, drawn-out game. It took a long time to get a victor. It took overtime to separate these sides, and now the victory goes to Mkers. We wanted Jaylings to come out of the gate swinging. They did so, but they didn't get the first map.
They didn't get the first map, but they did do a lot of very good things in that one, and I'm sure the desk will touch on that, so they're going to be with you just after this break.